So today for our assignment, we've been asked to look over our textbook and find a couple of things that we think might be useful for our careers moving forward after we're done with school here. So taking a look at our textbook written by Mrs. Sue Schellenbarger here. It's essentially what I see it as is a guidebook for early career navigation. If we just even take a look at the table of contents here, you can get a general idea for the types of stuff that they're having us look at. We're making good first impressions. We're talking about how we can look smart, not just be smart. How to engage with demanding bosses, claiming ideas, stuff like that. Graceful exits, entering workplaces, leaving workplaces, just like the common pitfalls that you're gonna get in basically every industry that you go to, just with people and how they behave. I think it does a good job at taking a look at those relationships and how you can navigate those successfully, put yourself on the best path for your career moving forward. So looking through these, the ones that stood out to me that I liked the best, that I wanted to look at were a few. We're going to talk about forming informal power in an office. And essentially, the idea of informal power is it's basically saying that you have more power than you think you do in a position that might not necessarily be one that's like at the top of the chain of the chain of command in your organization. It's just saying that essentially there's a common occurrence of flatter organizations in today's world. Just a lot of companies have people that are at generally the same level, and also just with social dynamics and how those work, you're gonna be getting opinions from people a lot of times that are not necessarily the ones that are at the very top of the chain. But it's saying that you can increase your formal power by increasing your informal power. So more jobs create responsibility for teammates to dish out rewards or punishments, it says corporate Dana Brownlee of Atlanta. So you can predict specific behaviors based on informal power, and many of them they can be learned across departments. So essentially, you're building a general expectation of what those in your organization are expecting, and then using that informal power to basically get some suggestions or even just contributions to a team that might be outside of your specific role, but you're able to do so in a flatter organization like ones that are more common nowadays. The next thing that I really enjoyed looking at is this idea of managing up. And that's essentially taking your relationship with your superior and understanding how they communicate best, how they might hear either critiques or support best, or how they might give those out in ways that are received good or bad, and basically meeting them where they're at in terms of how they are able to listen and take advice or how they give it. So it's basically building a relationship with your higher ups. It does require understanding how your boss likes communicating, so it takes a little bit of time to be able to figure that out in some positions. And some people might have an easier time figuring out how to manage up with an employer as opposed to others. So many of these are case by case, but you can definitely see the very distinct advantage it has in being able to have a relationship with your boss where you're able to understand how they receive information like that, and then be able to cater your words to that. And the final one that was wanting to look at was boundaried work. So essentially, it's the idea of the idea of a work-life balance. You work from 9 to 5, you go home at 5 p.m., and you have that time to yourself to be able to recharge, do whatever you'd like before going back to the office the next day. So this idea kind of takes that a little bit further, but in specific instances, like the example here is talking about a consultant who maybe doesn't have strict 9 to 5 houring, but they are still on an expectation of getting a certain amount of work done. So they might want to create a boundary with their employer, saying, for example, this lady says that one accounting manager deflected a stream of emails, texts, and calls from her boss every evening by promising to check in and answer them at 9 p.m. every night, says Amy Cooper Hackman, a management consultant. So basically, if you're able to find these small compromises and communications with an employer that are able to establish good boundaries for you as well as your boss, it's able to just like put out on the table exactly what the expectation is, and then so people have less of an opportunity to uh, basically let themselves down because it doesn't fit an expectation in their head that wasn't clearly communicated. So it's see here it says, yeah, in order for me to do the most productive work, I need to attend other obligations when I'm away, says Dr. Hackman. Working with difficult people, which includes strategies or dealing with aggressive managers. So basically, it's just giving you tips and tricks for how to best. It's kind of part of that managing up cycle of meeting your employer in a way that you know that they're able to receive well, and then also protecting yourself as an employee by setting these boundaries. So overall, this is a great textbook to flip through and look at a lot of the key points that it was going over. I definitely think it will be helpful for people moving forward in their career and just wanting a general guideline for how to tackle some of these common pitfalls that might come up in the next couple of years of their lives. So yeah, thanks guys for listening. Appreciate it.